let us take one case where the distribution will depend upon certain unknown parameter. So, one wants to investigate the distribution of the number of claims for medical treatments by families. A previous study suggested that the distribution may be Poisson. So, to investigate this, a random sample of 200 families is taken with the following classification. So, that is for each family how many claims are there, and that is what is the frequency, how many families made how many claims. So, it turned out that 22 families did not make any claim, 53 families made one claim, 58 families made two claims, 39 families made 3 claims, 20 families made 4 claims, 5 families made 5 claims, 2 families made 6 claims, and 1 family made 7 claims. That means, no family made more than 7 claims over a period, over a given period, maybe say 5 years time or maybe over a 10 years time, etc. So, here we want to test whether the whether a Poisson distribution fits the data appropriately. Now, here we do not even know the parameter lambda of the Poisson distribution. So, firstly we will estimate that. So, first we estimate the parameter lambda of the Poisson distribution. Now, we have already done estimation, we may use say maximum likelihood estimator or say minimum variance unbiased estimator for lambda. So, for example, maximum likelihood estimator for lambda is x bar. So, x bar is the mean which can be evaluated from here, that is 0 into 22 plus 1 into 53 and so on, plus 7 into 1 divided by 200. The total number of families is 200. So, this value turns out to be 2.05. So, we may approximately take 2 as the lambda value, and we will like to check whether this data follows Poisson at the rate 2. Now, this is a reasonable approximation because 2.05 is the value, and here we are talking about the number of claims. So, it is appropriate to take lambda to be an integral approximation of the value, and it is extremely close. So, this is fine. So, we want to find out the probabilities of x is equal to say small x for 0, 1, etc. So, now the formula in the Poisson distribution is e to the power minus lambda, lambda to the power x by x factorial, x is equal to 0, 1, 2 and so on. Now, the point here is that this is an infinite value distribution. Here we will calculate the probabilities only for 0, 1 to 7. So, they will not add up to 1. So, what we will do, we can calculate the probabilities 0, 1, 2 up to 6 and 7 we will put into the form of 7 and above, 7 and above. Although the data is not collected like that, it was observed that for 8 there is no family which made 8 claims, there is no family which made 9 claims, etc. So, basically the value 7 corresponds to 7 and above. In that case, the probability of the events, each of the classes will be adding up to 1. So, we calculate the probabilities and we report it like this. So, PIs for 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and above. So, substituting the value of lambda as lambda head is equal to 2, we can calculate this is e to the power minus 2, that is equal to 0.135. The probability of x is equal to 1, that will become lambda e to the power minus lambda. So, that is twice e to the power minus lambda. So, it is 0.27, this value is 0.271 again, because this is again 2 e to the power minus 2, this is 1.8, 0.09, then 0.036, 0.012, 0.005. The total is 1 here. So, now the expected frequencies, the estimate of the expected frequencies can be calculated by multiplying by 200 here. So, we will get it as 27, 54.2, 36, 18, 7.2, 2.4 and 1.0. The total is 200. Now, you note here the cell frequency of 6th and 7th, 6 and 7 and above, these are much below 5. In fact, even if we merge these two cells, the expected frequency will be only 3.4. So, then this will not allow us to use the chi-square approximation here. So, what we do, we merge the last 3 cells. So, if we merge these last 3 cells and add up, we will get 10.6 as the expected frequency, which is above 5. So, in place of 8 cells, now we have only 6 cells. So, sigma OI minus EI. So, we will have to then merge the observed frequency also here. The observed frequency merged will give 5 plus 2 plus 1, that is equal to 8. So, now OI minus EI square over EI 1 to 6 only, this is W star, that is equal to 2.33. Now, chi-square value has to be on k minus m minus 1. So, here m is 1 because only one parameter is there, k is 6. So, this becomes 6 minus 1 minus 1, that is chi-square 4. Now, if we see the value at say 0.05, that is 9.48, etc. So, H naught cannot be rejected, that is Poisson distribution seems to be an appropriate fit or appropriate model for the data. at least on the basis of the given data, we have no reason to reject H naught, that the distribution comes from a Poisson. The chi-square test for goodness of fit has other applications also. Let us consider the data which is not quantitative, but rather qualitative in nature. Let us consider the situation of contingency tables. R by C contingency tables. Sometimes the data in a statistical experiment is categorical rather than numerical. For example, in a population of individuals, we will like to know how many of the people are smokers and how many of them are non-smokers. So, it is a categorical data, that is, there is a two categories of person, one who are smokers, one who are non-smokers. We may also categorize them according to those who ultimately get lung cancer and who do not get the lung cancer. So, now the situation is like this: in a population we have characterized according to two different methods of categorization. One is the smoking habit and another is the incidence of a disease. Now, we want to check whether there is any association between these two characteristics or two attributes. That means, is it true or is it found on the basis of the data that those who smoke, they are more likely to get a lung cancer. So, this is called testing for independence in a contingency table. So, what is a contingency table? That we have two types of categorizations. One is, say, we will represent in the form of rows and another type in the category in the columns. So, we say R rows and C columns. So, the data may be represented like this. So, we have category A, we have category B. This may be 1 to up to C, and here you will have 1 to up to R. For example, in an organization, people are classified according to their professional hierarchical levels. For example, one may be the top person of the organization, that is, say, top management. In 2, we may have some people who are in the supervisory position or executives, and here you may have, say, daily wage workers. And now, we want to look at the attitude towards a certain option. So, for example, there is a option given for them for investment option. That means, from their salary they may be allowed to invest in certain, say, shares of the company, and there may be, say, 4 different types of shares. One is where you get a fixed kind of return, another is where you have a safe return, that means the equity is distributed into safe instruments. Next may be some balanced, that is partially risk and partially balanced, partially safe, and there may be risky option. So, maybe you will find that out of a sample of n implies of the organization, you found O11 are of, that is those who are in the top management and those who go for option 1, O12, O1C, O21, O22, O2C, OR1, OR2, ORC. So, this is the data, that is the sample n is categorized in RC cells and OIJ is the observed frequency of the ijth cell. What we want to test here is, we want to test whether there is any association in two ways of categorization, that is A and B, whether A and B are having any association. As I just gave the example of smoking and cancer, similarly here may be that those who are in the higher order in the hierarchy of the company, they may like to invest in high risk equities, etc., whereas those who are in the lower income group or lower in the hierarchy, they may like to go for safe this one. Suppose this could be our hypothesis, or we may make a hypothesis that there is no relation. So, this is called testing for independence in a contingency table. So, you can say here pi I j is the expected, or you can say probability of ijth cell, that is the theoretical probability. Pi I dot is the probability of ith type of category, say B. Pi dot j is the probability of jth type of category A. So, actually here pi I dot will be equal to sigma pi I j, j is equal to 1 to C, and pi dot j is actually sigma pi I j, I is equal to 1 to R. Then we want to test H naught pi I j is equal to pi I dot into pi dot j. For every pair I j, and H 1 is at least one inequality. Now, if we see carefully, this is nothing but a generalization of the test of goodness of fit itself. In the test of goodness of fit, what we wanted to test is that whether the data comes from a particular distribution. The procedure adopted was that we divided the range of the distribution into k intervals, or you can say k cells, and we looked at the observed frequencies. The theoretical distribution of the observed frequencies was multinomial. Now, likewise, here if you see, what we are claiming here is that the probabilities are pi ij's for the ijth cell, the observed frequency is O ij. So, if we look at the distribution of the categories here, that is O11, O12, O1C and so on up to ORC, the joint distribution of this will again be multinomial. So, that means the test will be actually of the previous form itself with little bit modification. So, if we write down O11, O12 and so on up to ORC, this has a multinomial distribution with cell probabilities pi I j, with sigma of pi I j is equal to 1. So, using the previous argument, if I define say E I j is equal to n times pi I j, then double summation O I j minus E I j square by E I j, let me call it say W tilde, then this is asymptotically chi square distribution on r minus 1 into c minus 1 degrees of freedom. The values of EIJs are estimated by considering RI Cj by n, where Ri is actually summation of Oij, j is equal to 1 to c, and Cj is sigma Oij, I is equal to 1 to r. So, if we make use of this Oij minus Eij head square by Eij head, then this will be asymptotically chi square on r minus 1 c minus 1 degrees of freedom. So, the test is reject H naught if W tilde is greater than or equal to chi square r minus 1 c minus 1 alpha. So, the chi square test for goodness of fit is applicable for testing for independence in a R by C contingency table also. So, in the next class I will give some applications of this test. We will also see that this is applicable to a slightly different situation. Here you can see that we are considering a random sample of size n from the population and then we are making this classification. In certain other situations, even this row totals or column totals may be fixed and then the sampling is done from there. That means something like a stratified sampling. We will see that even in the stratified sampling the same formula is applicable. So, in the next class I will be covering those portions.